Oh my god, I'm live. Oh my god, I'm live. Okay, this feels so different. Hi, guys. So I think people are joining very fast. We are still waiting for our guest, our main entertainment. Hi, Shweta. It's nice to see you. So all those people. Hi, Shashi. Oh, hello, Sandamini. Hi. So for everyone, this is our very first live session, and it's a very first time I'm going live as well. So it's a time for fest for everyone, I guess. And because and I'm quite a bit nervous, but I think our guests would, help us deal with that. So hi, Ashakar. Glad to see you could join. I know it sounds a bit funny. And you can see I'm nervous, right? Because I am terribly nervous. This is my very first live. So I'm still waiting for our guest. Thanks a lot, Shash. That means a lot. Okay, so the thing was this interview. It was, a very bit of it was a bit of a surprise for even for us, because we not really plan a very interview session, but our guests they suggested that they could not, they had the time to do an interview. So we okay, let's go with this. Uh, I'm pretty sure, we'll be discussing several important topics today, and this is one of our very first lives, and and it is a good feeling. Thanks a lot, Sandamini. That is good, great to have a pessimistic person around. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so guys, so today we are having a very, very special person for our very first interview, guys. He's a very big mental health advocate,
Hello.
TEDx speaker. Hi, Sharan. Great to see you.
Nice to see you as
So,
well, man. How's it going?
uh, great, I guess, because it's my very first time, and because I was so nervous, and I was sending question as to Sharan. Sharan was like, okay, let's have it casually. So I'm like, okay, he will manage it. So
You can just ask me any question, man. I'm more than happy to answer.
that's so great to hear, because I'm feeling like I was feeling tons of nervousness. So it feels a bit great now. So, guys, this is Sharan. So better than me saying it, I think we can all hear Sharan's story from himself. So Sharan, what's your story?
What's
How
my
did you become
story? I don't know, man.
so how did you become a
My
mental health
story, okay.
advocate?
Sure. So, a long story short, I have been in Melbourne for the past 2 years. I was obviously in Sri Lanka until I was 25, and then I moved here to do my master's. Mental health is not something I really understood or knew about, or it wasn't really spoken about by friends or family. It wasn't really a topical discussion. But I've gone through some stuff in life that I didn't realize were holding me down or giving me baggage or things that I never came to with closure. And then after moving to Melbourne and going through some personal difficulties myself here, which was quite a catalyst and a pivotal moment in my life, I started to realize that I'm in a very bad place. I was experiencing panic attacks for like 7 days straight at one point. I was very anxious. I was overthinking all the time, and I didn't know how to articulate my feelings and my thoughts. So eventually, my two best friends who I was talking to almost every day, they were giving me obviously temporary distraction on how to handle my thoughts and my feelings, and I was happy at the time because we were joking around, etc. But then it came to a point where they basically looked at me and told me, Sharan, it comes to a point where we can't help you anymore. And you need to seek out someone who can, a professional who can. And then they told me that every university should have free therapy in Australia. And luckily for me, RMIT, the university that I went to, did. And they have really good psychologists and therapists and counselors as well. So that's when I started to learn, man. My first two sessions, I was bawling out, crying, talking about all of the things that I was going through. But then I was able to understand about my mental health. I was able to understand deep-rooted issues that I never really understood were issues, such
Yeah.
as family dynamics, past relationships, friends, education, all of these things. And I started to understand all of these things are much better in a much more professional and articulated sense. And then after that, man, I used to be, so for those of you who don't know, I used to talk about food and travel a lot on this page, on my page. But then I thought, good for the people who do it, but like my content doesn't have any purpose for myself. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to start talking about actual issues, but also like spread a bit of positivity, a bit of kindness, and see what's out there. And then yeah, and then mental health became a very important topic for me.
That's so nice to hear, Sharan, because in especially when we are like in Sri Lanka, mental health is like a taboo concept. You can't talk with anyone. Like you like if you say the word mental health, people are like, oh my god, like are you crazy? Like have you gone upset? Isura, mad? Those are the terms that we are hearing a lot these days. So talking about that, Sharan. Now, like if I say I'm not gonna be like, how do I know I need some help? How do I know I need some help? Like how did you find out that you need some help?
Yeah, man, good question. Obviously, those terms are part of the reason why we're so scared to talk about our emotion. Especially being a male in society, we're so scared to be an emotional person because emotion is seen as weak.
Exactly.
So when it comes to identifying, to answer your question more directly, and when it comes to identifying when you need help, when you can't articulate your thoughts, man, and when you're in this place where nothing feels right, you're always feeling sad or depressed, or you're always feeling demotivated, irrespective of all the motivational posts you see online, the friends talking to you, having a great support system around you, you just feel low and you feel sad and you can't manage your thoughts and everything is overwhelming and you're in this very dark place that you can't get out of. When you're in that place, man, it's always good to see. You don't like, the thing is, what people think is, oh, if I go to a therapist, I'm going to get medicine. Not all the time. I've never been on antidepressants. I've never been on antidepressants because I didn't need antidepressants. I just needed someone to help me with my thoughts, and I needed someone to listen to me who was a professional. And after they articulated in a way that I could understand about my thoughts as well, I started growing and I started learning a lot more. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning and I'm still having bad days. But when you're going through that bout of like never feeling good enough or never feeling better, it's always good to reach out for help.
So, and as I told Sharan, this is one of our biggest fears, and isn't it? Like, if you go to a doctor, people are like, "I'm diagnosed," like, I'm gonna be mad. So, like, how did you like deal with it? Like, the terms that people use, the labels that give people, like, that's the main reason that even though most people are depressed, they are not willing to seek out help. So, how do you deal with that?
Good question, man. So basically, for me, I actually asked my therapist towards the end of our sessions, because since I've graduated from uni, I no longer can go to those sessions. And I asked her, like, am I diagnosed with anything? Like, give me a diagnosis. And she was like, see, the term diagnosis is it's turned out to be such a scary term, and people are really scared to like know what they're actually about. But what my therapist basically told me was just like, you have severe psychological distress, but it's not being diagnosed with depression or anything like that. You just need to figure out your thoughts a lot more. A lot of my depression or a lot of my anxiety comes from severe insecurity complex. So all of these things are stuff that I learned, right? And obviously we're so used to, especially in Sri Lanka, we're used to making jokes about going to Angoda, or we're used to making jokes about going crazy and stuff like that. Those are things that are coming from people who are not emotionally intelligent. Whenever people say that they're scared because of what their friends or family might think, I tell them, like, what's more important, other people's judgment or your health? Your health should always be
Exactly. Yeah.
priority. Your
Exactly.
self-worth and your health and your mental state of mind should always be priority. So if you're putting yourself first so that in the long term you can be happier, your family can be happier, and the people around you can be happier, do it. Doesn't matter what people are saying. Those people are very
Exactly.
ignorant. They're not doing their due diligence in learning about what's important and what's not. So
Exactly, Sharan. So that was that was very informative. And let's come back to the current situation. I think this was the reason that we chose that COVID, because it's a very timely topic for us now. So how has your mentality changed during COVID, especially with all the lockdowns and quarantines going in Melbourne?
Yeah, so this is the second lockdown we're going through. Unfortunately, the first lockdown really rocked me. It was really a bad time, and that's why I'm looking forward to taking a break from social media. But it really rocked me because 2019 I was so used to running. I was so used to doing 100 million things at once. I was achieving so many things, and then COVID-19 happened, and I was just like, ah, shit. Like I can't do that anymore. I need to slow down. But I still didn't slow down. I started a live show. I spoke to like over 120 guests in like little over a month, which drained me. I had university, I had actual work, and COVID-19 was not the time to be so productive. I learned the
Exactly.
hard way that less productivity is better than no productivity, because now is the time where you're so alone in your thoughts, you're home all the time, you're not with your friends. Obviously in Sri Lanka the lockdowns are lifted, but I'm going to bet that lockdowns are going to come again in Sri Lanka after these elections are over. But if it does come to that situation, please look after yourself, because and please tell yourself that it's okay to slow down, it's okay to take a nap, it's okay to be nothing. The biggest advice that my therapist told me, which really changed my mindset, but it was such a simple thought. She basically said, doing nothing is still doing something. And I was like, oh wow, okay, that
Yeah,
makes
that is
sense.
really a
So
thought
like,
provoker.
right? And I was just like, if you don't want to do anything, that's completely fine. If you just want to take a nap, that's okay. Give yourself that time to
Yeah,
breathe, because now it's the new normal, right? If firms in Sri Lanka don't realize that people are going to drain themselves at home, or like working from home is the new normal and managing your mental health is an important thing, people are going to be so depressed, they're going to be so anxious, especially newer generations, right? We are so the big difference between older generations and newer generations is technology and social media. Newer
exactly.
generations are so in tune with social media that we get news and news and news and news, and we're just reading, and we're depressed, and we're overwhelmed about the world, and we're overwhelmed about what's going on around the world, and then we become so unproductive because we're letting all of these things control us. Obviously there are stronger minded people who don't let these things get to them, and that's great, but not everyone is like them, right?
Wait,
So when it comes to catering to the new normal, we have to realize that less productivity is better than no productivity. Give yourself times to take breaks. Obviously everyone needs to pay bills, so obviously everyone has to work, but that doesn't mean you need to work just like you worked before, right?
exactly,
you
Sharan.
you have Yes, you have something to prove at like your firm and all of those things, but look, if firms don't come to realize that they need to take care of their staff now more than ever, it's going to be a very bad time for in the
Exactly.
new normal.
Yeah. And your earning is not gonna save your life, right? Obviously, when the COVID strikes. So
Money is
and the thing is,
important. I'm not saying no, but something that my grandmother told me all the time. Every time I used to bother her for money for toffees and everything, she used to say, "When you die, you don't take anything with you." So that's the mindset that I have.
obviously, exactly. So Sharon, now you know, as you are experiencing quarantine, now it's a bit of a lonely time, isn't it? You can't visit your friends, you can't visit your people you know, your relations, no one, and loneliness is its own kind of hell for most people. Like, so how do you deal with it? You know, because it's a very relatable
Yeah,
concept.
good question. I At the beginning I dealt with it really badly, but after learning about how to deal with it, I reached out to two friends, because when I am in a really bad place, I tend to become a turtle. So I just like completely detach myself. I don't talk to anyone. I go into my little bubble. But that's the worst possible thing you can do. As introverted as you might be, reach out to someone. So I reached out to two of my friends, and even if we're not talking, it felt nice to have someone on the other line so that I can continue to work. So like
Yeah.
she would be doing her work, I would be doing my work, and I would just have someone on the phone. So that's one tip. Like just call someone, just be on the phone with them. Use WhatsApp call if you want, so you can use data instead of bills and whatever in Sri Lanka. So like just have someone on the phone, just talk to someone, right? That's something I'm very hesitant to do, but I just found two people that I can depend on, that I can call anytime. Um, Besides that, like I said, take breaks, take naps. It's okay to do nothing. Just remind yourself that less productivity is better than no productivity. It's okay. Like 2020 is a good year. 2020 is a good year to look into yourself, to to be self-aware about who you are, what you can manage, what you can't manage, these demons that you've just been like sweeping under the rug. You can start getting some closure about those things, and just like give you some time to just like relax, finish, binge watch a Netflix show, do whatever you want, just like be happy,
Awesome.
you know.
So what
That's what I
really
reminded
connects
myself
us.
during this time.
So what really connected was Sharan. Like you are one of those rare people to say 2020 is a good year. That's like most people are like crying like right now. Oh my God! Like 2020 ruined it. If not, people are like I wasted one more year of my life, but it's not my fault. So it's basically like it's really nice to know that there is a positive side, isn't it, to all these things we are going through. So Sharan, as you
Man,
were talking.
let, let, let me quickly tell you. Sorry to cut you off. At the beginning, I was just like cancel 2020. Like 2020 never existed. But then I thought like, no, 2020 is great because it taught me personally about the fact that I'm not invincible. The fact that it just took a pandemic to bring me back to my 2019, early 2019 mentality. It just took one thing
Exactly.
to snap me back to a bad place, right? It's a reminder that I'm not invincible, and it's a reminder that I need to pace myself and slow down. Less productivity is better than no productivity. I learned so many things through this because I had so many plans for 2020, so many plans, but
All of them
everything just
sucks.
got. But it's all perspective, right? Like it's all about, okay, you can think of it in a way that it destroyed your life, or you can think about it in a way that, okay, this is a new opportunity to grow. So it's all about
Awesome.
perspective.
So yes, that was a very nice way of looking at 2020, a perspective to grow really, than a perspective to oh my God, everything is gone. And Sharan, what really intrigued me was this topic that so you need to distance yourself from social media because studies have shown that people are experiencing more depression. Like people are social media does not relax you. Instead, it's simply because it basically increases your stress level because you are very much aware what you don't have than what you have because people are posting successes, right? They never post their failures. So like how are you going to do that?
I talk about this all the time, and I love talking about this. Social media is not it. Have you heard of vanity metrics?
Nope.
It's
I'm quite
alright.
like an
So
ignorant.
vanity metrics is basically the number of likes you get. You're valued by the number of likes you get, the number of shares you get, the number of views you get. Nobody cares. Okay? If you be the person, be the good person when nobody's looking, right? Instagram, YouTube, whatever it may be. And I'm on these social medias. Like I use it for a particular purpose. But at the end of the day, if Instagram is deleted, who are you behind closed doors? Who are you behind social media? There's a quote by Theodore Roosevelt that my friend Emma told me. Comparison is the thief of joy. The more we get on social media, we just see the person with the bigger smile, the nicer looking husband or wife, children, houses, traveling, so happy, and all of those things. How do you know that they're completely happy? It's so easy to take a picture of you smiling and post it on Instagram, right? But we're so
Exactly.
quick to be like, I want to have that life. Why am I not having that life? It is so unfair that I don't have that life, right?
Exactly,
But
Sharon.
at the end of the day, what does it matter? You just be the best version of you and find what happiness means to you. Stop comparing yourself to other people around the world that you have no idea who they are and no idea what goes on behind closed doors. They could be dealing with their own demons as well, right? Just because they're smiling and putting
Obviously.
a picture on Instagram doesn't mean that they're having the perfect life and they're completely happy. So when it comes to social media, yes, it is the highest cause of depression because we're so used to getting anxious about other people, about what's going on around the world. And if you ever want to, you have that choice to unfollow this person that's making you feel insecure. You have that choice to mute the story, mute their post. You have the choice to delete the app. Control is in your
Obviously.
hands. You choose to go through the grid and make yourself feel that way. So if you really
Obviously,
wanted to,
yeah.
you can follow more pages that motivate you in a real sense rather than motivate you in a sense where, oh my god, I don't have that, I'm never going to achieve that. It's as simple as that.
Obviously. Yeah, so but because people never post their failures on social media, it's always about their successes. So we don't know what's
Man, I
happening,
talk about my
right?
failures all the time. I basically, as soon as I lost 3 jobs, I was just like, I lost 3 jobs, guys.
Like yeah, when you get laid off, like I got today morning, like you don't want to talk about it, right? Because people are like, when you get a great job, yeah, oh my god, I got a great job. It's on social media. When you're laid off, no, let's keep it secret. So that's what happens in social
No,
media.
but the thing is, you have to also respect that some people just want to keep it to themselves, and that's fine. When you're someone like me, and when you're someone who wants to be relatable and wants to like reach out to more hearts and minds, at that point I'm just like, look, yes, it's depressing, yes, it's difficult, but this is what happened. This is what happens in real life. Like things happen. Pandemics took away 3 jobs of mine. But the thing is, you can either sit back and cry about it, which I did for a couple of days, but then after that I got through it.
Obviously, that is what really it means, right? And Sharan, you can see that some people, like their loved ones are probably diagnosed with the virus or are probably passed away, and grief during pandemic is not really easy to deal with, like because it is you can't even go to their funeral most of the time, right? So how do you deal with it? How do you go through a dark cloud?
That is a great. Hey Sharon, that is a great question, man. And let me just say this, right? COVID-19 is still not over. People in Sri Lanka are going out, going on trips, going on their Friday nights and Saturday nights and enjoying, and no social distancing, and everything is happening. People are forgetting that there's a virus because the government has made you forget that there's a virus.
Obviously,
But there are cases, Sri Lankan cases are matching Australian cases. That's really bad. Sri Lanka is such a small island compared to Australia,
Australia.
right? In not every day, but like in some days, one day there was like some 100 odd cases, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? COVID-19 is not over. I can still go out for exercise and essential goods, right? I don't go out every day, right? Only I go out to exercise, get my groceries, and come back. That's it, right? When lockdowns lifted in Melbourne, I only went out for like a hike, where it's still like away from other people and just secluded. Or I went to the gym when it was managed, just like 10 people per like hour can come there. Like you can't exceed 10 people in the gym, so they put down procedures, and to go get my groceries, because we haven't eliminated the disease just like in New Zealand. The fact that I'm bringing this up is the fact that we have forgotten in Sri Lanka and we're going out and we're having a good time, which is good. I'm glad you're missing your friends and all of those things. But in order to stop the lives that are affected by COVID-19, in order to completely eliminate the disease, we need to struggle a little bit. We need to just stay at home. We just need to stay at home and help get over this. The longer that we go out and enjoy for temporary measures, the longer this disease is going to exist.
Agreed,
It's that
100%
obvious,
agreed. It's like
right?
saying,
So
I'm
like,
like,
sorry, go ahead.
no, like it's like saying that when you're jumping off a flight, just because the parachute has slowed down your descent, I'm going to remove the parachute.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know, like exactly. So like, if you're empathetic, yes, everyone doesn't care until it affects them.
Damn.
As soon as
Exactly.
they have COVID-19, or a family member that's close to them, or a loved one that's close to them gets COVID-19, they're just like, guys, please stay home. No, there are so many people who are affected by COVID-19 that we can be empathetic towards, and be like, okay, if I stay home, there's a chance that I can reduce the spread.
Exactly. So
So,
it's not real, right? As long as you don't get it, it's not real. It's something that other people get it. Obviously.
empathy, man. It's empathy.
That's becoming rarer and rarer. So now, how do you creativize? Like how do you you take a step back, right? You take a step back during COVID-19. So how do you spend that time during COVID-19 to make sure you are not feeling bad? You are doing, what can you do? What is the self care during COVID-19?
Man, like I said before, take a damn nap if you want in the middle of the day. Watch some Netflix. Talk to your friends and family. Continue talking to your friends and family. Don't just stop because in Sri Lanka lockdowns have stopped. Continue talking to them. Keep in touch with those people. It's related to my previous answer, man. It's just like, just make sure that you take care of yourself. Make sure that you continue. Not just during a pandemic, right? Mental health, topics like mental health should not come up just because of a pandemic. Right? You should always take care of yourself. And forget the term mental health. Let's talk about well-being. Well-being shouldn't be spoken about only during a pandemic or only during the time that if someone unfortunately takes their life. It should not be a discussion only during those times, right? It should be spoken about all the time. So just continue to look after yourself. Even after this pandemic is over, touch wood, it's over sooner than later, and we'll eliminate it. But just give yourself time to just breathe and just read a book or do something that you love, that you stop doing, whether that's drawing, whether that's painting, whether that's writing, whether that's speaking, whatever it may be. Just put some more time into it, because like this is the time that you have like time to do things that you love, and just give yourself more time to breathe.
That's exactly a very nice mentality, Sharan, because like we've always complaining, right? We don't have time for that and this. Now God has given you an exact time frame to do this. So if you're not going to use it, that's the mentality we are looking for, isn't it? So Sharan, we are very really glad of having you here. Like honestly, like I did not expect this to happen. Like because and we are really happy of having you here. Like really grateful. Like above the to this thing. So.
Oh man, thanks for having me, man. And I'm glad that I could be your first guest. And I hope to see more from you guys, and just keep doing what you do. As you guys have the name Happy Mind, Happy Life, right? So always focus towards, and most of the time happiness comes from inside. Happiness comes from within us. So focus on looking after yourself. I refer to the airbag mentality. So like when you're in an airplane and the airbags fall down from the top, they always tell you to look after yourself first, put the bag on you first, and then put the bag on the other people. So in order for you to look after your friends and your family and your loved ones, first look after yourself. You are always first. It's not being selfish, it's about being smart and loving yourself first, so that you can look after the people around you.
Exactly, Sharan. And like really thankful for being our first guest and being my first guest. It's like my very first time going Insta live, and like you were an awesome guest, Sharan. Like
you did really well as well.
I'm so terrified. So like still terrified.
You did awesome, man. Don't stress.
So really thankful for having you, Sharan. Hope to see you a lot in the future.
Before you go, quickly tell me about yourself. What do you do?
I'm Inosh, so I call myself the book dragon because you can see the evidence behind me, right? Because like I love books a lot. So I am part of Happy Mind and Happy Life, and this was the first time, and people wanted someone to do it first. So I was like, yeah, let me go to the crocodile's mouth first. So that was this thing, because like I was doing nothing, right? So like okay, so let's go in. And like
good. That's something.
Yes, you know.
Oh, bro! Like, anytime, man. I'm not some person who's like on this pedestal or whatever. I'm just an ordinary guy. Like I don't like to be like, every time someone calls me sir or Aya or something, I'm just like, oh my god, just call me Sharan. But like, good man. Keep reading. That's one of my greatest weaknesses, that I don't read properly yet, which I'm trying to change. Keep reading, man. Reading and educating ourselves is the only way we're going to be better as society.
Exactly. So that's what I say to my friends. But you know what my friends say, right? So thanks for being with us today, Sharan. Glad. We'll really hope to see you a lot in the future. Bye. Take care.
See you, buddy. Folks, see ya.
Bye. And folks, we are gonna have several more live interviews like this. Hope to see you live. We have scheduled several more lives, and Sharan was such an awesome guest. And we have